At 8:45 a.m. on Wednesday, August 24, 2011, federal agents acting in the name of the Obama administration's Justice Department burst into two separate plants of the Gibson Guitar Company located in Tennessee. They claimed that the wood used in the guitars was imported in violation of the Lacey Act, essentially saying that while India was okay with the exported wood, America wasn't. The Martin Guitar Company uses exactly the same wood, but they were not rated. Oh, parenthetically, the president of the Gibson Guitar Company is a large Republican donor, and the president of the Martin Guitar Company is a large Democrat donor. Aerospace giant Boeing spent $2 billion on a plant in South Carolina, one that would have created about 1,000 high-end jobs. But Boeing has not been able to move into that factory because the Obama administration's big union donors do not like the idea of a right-to-work state like South Carolina. Chrysler Corporation had its investors' legal contracts voided at the point of a gun, and the president of Standard & Poor's was fired recently under enormous political pressure from the Obama administration after they had the audacity to remark that a country holding $15,000 billion in debt and adding trillions more every year should maybe not receive the same credit rating as a country running a budget surplus. Now, joining me to comment on this war on the private sector are my friends Steve Green and Scott Ott. Welcome, gents. Scotty, let's go to you. This Gibson thing looks like rank intimidation from an administration that's been noteworthy for this kind of Chicago-style gangsterism. Hey, nice company you got here. Be a shame if something happened to it.
Well, oddly enough, I actually just took a tour of the Martin factory in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. They make a beautiful guitar, and I would love to have one or two or several more of those things. But that's no excuse for the government playing favorites, but it's the whole game that the government plays. They always play favorites, whether it's in how they prosecute somebody or in how they grant tax benefits. There's this constant ongoing political thing where they say, you are favored, you are not favored. We shall punish you, we shall not punish you. That's why we have to get the government out of this kind of heavy-handed regulation. This, frankly, is criminal in my mind.
You're darn right it is, and things were not always this way, and they were certainly not this way to this degree. Steve, let's go to Boeing. One of the few, and certainly the most preeminent, large-scale manufacturers left in the nation cannot take possession of a $2 billion factory that they already paid for. Now, what would you do if you were the president of Boeing?
Margaritaville, baby, I'm going to Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, put it on the beach. I did some reading on the 787 Dreamliner. That's the jet Boeing wants to assemble in South Carolina, and the parts for it are built all over the world. And you know what? Mostly what will happen in South Carolina is just the final assembly, and that sounds like a pretty easy job to move anywhere they want. But you know what? The 787, it really is a dream jet, especially for liberals. Its engines are almost silent, and it uses, get this, 20% less fuel. It's so advanced, though, that Boeing has suffered 3 years' worth of delays. Everything is back-ordered, and Airbus is catching up. Boeing's bet their future on this plane, and the administration is going to destroy the thing.
That's right. That's right. The European governments subsidize Airbus to an enormous degree, and the American government does everything it can to cut the hamstrings of the only large-scale, high-tech manufacturer left in America. Way to go, Mr. President. Scott, my understanding is that many large financial companies like Standard & Poor's, let's say, made big contributions to Obama in 2008. You think those checks are going to be forthcoming this time around?
No, they're not. In fact, many in the business community are finally saying, you know, who is this guy? We thought that we had a friend in the White House, and we have nothing of the sort. You know, there was an incident similar to this right at the beginning of the Great Depression when President Hoover called in all these banking people and all these captains of industry and essentially told them, look, we know everything's gone in the toilet, but we want you to spend like crazy anyway, because that's the only way we're going to raise prices and pull ourselves out of this broken economy. And of course, you know the results of that. The Great Depression, which followed, exacerbated by Roosevelt. We're seeing the same kind of intervention on the executive level here in the economy. Get the heck out, Mr. President.
You bet. You can get more from my friend Scott Ott at scottott.org. Steve, from where I sit, this is a war on corporations, and there's no surprise about that, given the rhetoric. What's the answer here? What do you think the wealth creators have to do?
You know, I'm going to disagree. I don't think it's a war on corporations, but what they're doing to Boeing and Gibson is the same thing that they're doing to the medical profession with Obamacare, and that is to break them to the saddle. Look, the way you create a permanent Democratic majority, even though only 1 in 5 Americans thinks they're liberal, the way you do it is you make it impossible to do business without first paying off Democratic interests. They've done it this way in Chicago for decades. You're right. They've been trying to do it nationally for 80 years. Obama's their once-in-a-lifetime golden boy who could get all this stuff done while hiding under the shield of white guilt. They know it's not working. They've only got a year left to get this program done before he gets thrown out of office, and they will do everything, anything to get it done in that time.
Boy, oh boy, breaking corporations for the saddle, ladies and gentlemen. That's the kind of commentary you can find from Steve Green over at vodkapundit.com. Now, not long ago, I saw a woman arguing with Stuart Varney on Fox News. I think she may have been the director of the Obama Institute for the Advancement of Economic Blame. She was amazed and mystified that the private sector, which is sitting on a lot of cash, isn't hiring new employees and building new factories. Amazed and darkly threatening. Something should be done about it. No, it's an utter mystery, all right? An utter mystery why Gibson Guitars may decide to relocate to India. It's an utter mystery why Boeing doesn't build any new factories. An utter mystery why no one starts a new car company like Chrysler. It's an utter mystery why jobs are fleeing the country. It's all an utter mystery. No one can understand any of it. And if this anti-business Marxist-in-chief who rails against business, fat cat bankers, millionaires, and private jets, between junkets in the world's most expensive private jet to hang out with the millionaires up at Martha's Vineyard, if this man is reelected, it will be an utter mystery why there are no jobs, no money, no hope, no nothing. Now, whether or not that catastrophe comes to pass is on the shoulders of only 2 people, and that'd be you and me. For PJTV, I'm Bill Woodall.